In this video, we are going to start creating our UI element to store our inventory. We are going to create this panel in the center of our screen, and we are going to divide it into the content and the description part that we are going to later on split into smaller parts. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so first thing that we are going to create is the base for our UI. So in our project we already have a canvas with index 1. We can of course remove this, and this canvas contains our health bar. Now we want to add another window here that will be our UI for our inventory. We are not going to bother creating anything more advanced than a simple page that displays our inventory. So let's right click on our canvas in the hierarchy, and let's select the UI, and let's select the panel. And our panel will be created to fill in the whole screen. Let's change its name to be in-game menu. Okay, and we are going to disable the image here, so this is transparent. Now, beside this, we are going to add here to this component, so let me minimize the direct transform and the image. We are going to add the horizontal layout group, so type horizontal and add it to our component. Now, inside this component, we are going to create another panel, so let's right click on the in-game menu, right click, UI, and select panel, and this will be our inventory. Now, when you have created it, direct transform will show that its size is 0 and 0, and this is because our horizontal layout group inside the in-game menu, so in the top, the parent object of our inventory. What we want to do is inside the horizontal layout group, inside our in-game menu, we want to set the control child size width and height, and it will expand our inventory to take the full screen of our game. We do not obviously want that, so let's select the padding, and let's set the left padding to be 100, right padding to be 100, maybe top padding to be 200, so this is a bit lower than our UI for the health, and the bottom padding to be 100 as well. Now this will be our inventory page. Let's select some graphic for it. Now inside your assets you will find underscore graphics, and there will be some CC0 assets. I will post links to those in the description of the video. What we want to do is select the inventory in our hierarchy, expand the image, and we are going to select our source image. Let's click it. Let's type GUI. And we should have GUI underscore, and we are going to select underscore 2. So this will be this bluish panel. Let's select the color here, and let's extend the alpha, so this is a fully opaque panel. Now if we select this panel, you will see that this is inside the Cryo Mini GUI and GUI folder, and inside here we have GUI underscore 1x. And if we open the sprite editor, you will see that this is sliced using the 9 slice technique. So basically you have those green lines, and those green lines depict the borders of our panel. The corners will never scale, and those parts will scale, those vertical parts will scale up and down, and will never be scaled in the horizontal axis, while the top and bottom parts will be scaled on the horizontal axis but never be scaled on the vertical one. And this is how we can create this. And in our image, let's not save this, the image itself of the inventory is set to be sliced, because this way we can change the pixel per unit multiplier, and if we increase it, you will see that in your screen view you have this border becoming bigger. Let's keep it at 1 because we do not exactly want this border to be that big. Okay, so I know that I want to split my UI into 2 parts, the main part of the inventory and the second part, which will be the description. We basically want to add another horizontal layout group into the inventory itself, so let's add to it a horizontal layout group. And let's create 2 panels inside the inventory. So right click on the inventory UI and let's select panel, and let's call this panel inventory content. And we are going to use Ctrl D to duplicate it, and let's call it inventory description. Okay, now again we need to select the inventory parent object and set the control child size width and height, and we are going to see white panels appearing side by side. One thing that I want to set is child alignment in the horizontal layout group for the inventory to be middle center. And I want to extend the padding to be 20 on each side, so left, right, top and bottom. And we can set it on the spacing for the spacing value as well, so there will be some spacing between those two objects. Now, I know that I do not want them to be to take equal space in our inventory window. I want the content to be much bigger than the description part, since the content is more important. So let's select the inventory content panel. Let's select the add component, and we are going to type layout. And we should find the layout element component here in our add component menu. Now I will set the min width, so I want this component to be min width to be 1100. And as you can see, the width of this component has increased. Now I will want to do the same basically with my description, since I want to the description to also take some part of our inventory panel. So I will select the inventory description, add a layout element, min width set to be 500, makes it pretty much what I want to have in my inventory. Now of course we could set the content, inventory content to be not min width, but rather prefer flexible width, and we could set some high value here, so this will basically make the content take as much space as it can and leave the description at 500. If we take a look at the documentation of the layout element, it will tell us that flexible width, the relative amount of additional available width, this layout element should fill out relative to its siblings. While the minimum width this layout element should have. So basically this should play nicely, but sometimes we may want to only set the width value. Okay, so let's just select the images for those. Down the inventory content we will select the image, and let's type GUI, the _0, and this one also is sliced. We are going to change the color to be full alpha, and now this will be our image. We can also select this and increase the pixel per unit value to decrease the border, and basically about 2 is okay. And for the inventory description, actually, we are going to disable the image, because this will be simply a container to add an image as well as the description field here to this container. Okay, in the next video we are going to start adding the details here so that we can finish this main part, and next we are going to start coding the logic behind this UI. See you in the next video.